Welcome back, folks, to Stobart FM. In the next half an hour, a debate on if coal truly can be lucky, and if legal representatives are qualified enough to save the world. All this and more on your favorite radio station. Welcome back, folks, to Let's Play Broken Sword 2, and when last we left off, as you can hear, my voice is exceptionally croaky, but the show must go on, and so we've returned to George here in Quaramonte, where he's looking for leads on Condor Transglobal. There are a lot of people that we can talk to here, but first we're going to head over to the right, because there's a lot of things over here that we haven't yet had a look at. For instance, there's the police station over here.
According to the sign over the door, this was Quaramonte's police station.
We'll surely be going in there soon enough. There's also an area over here that will lead over to a truck. And who is driving the truck but somebody that we already know? This person is Dwayne.
It was Pearl's husband, Dwayne.
We need to have a conversation with Dwayne. He'll surely be important. At least I hope he'll be important. Hello, how are you?
Hey, Mr. Anderson. Good to see you again.
Do I know you, son?
George Stobart, remember? In Syria? I sold you a statue.
I remember that. Pearl was mighty vexed when the paint came off.
Look, I'm sorry. I'll give you back the $50.
No, you suckered me fair and square.
There are a lot of things to talk about here. So let's start by talking about Dwayne and seeing how he is, and if he's still working for the people we really shouldn't be talking about.
Are you still working for you know who?
You know I can't talk about my work, George. That's between me and Uncle Sam.
How long is it going to be before you start talking about your work? I'm going to give it about 4 minutes. Let's see if he knows anything about Karzac, shall we?
Does the name Karzac mean anything to you?
Sounds like a comic book villain to me, son.
He's the man behind Condor, and the rat who kidnapped Niko.
You know, the first time I met you, I was deeply impressed with your naive simplicity. I said to Pearl, if we ever had kids, I would have wanted a boy like George. But I underestimated you, son.
Let's talk about his wife. Let's confirm if they are in fact having a bit of a falling out.
I spoke to Pearl earlier.
Yeah? Did she mention that we had a kind of falling out?
Yes, she did.
She'll get over it.
Let's talk about the truck. The truck seems to be a pretty conspicuous thing, and it's right up against that building. I wonder what that's for.
Did you drive all the way down here?
Hell no. Pearl did the driving while I followed the maps. The way she handled the wheel, you'd think she'd been trucking half her life.
You probably had to stop a lot of times for fuel, because you went a very long way indeed.
Why did you bring a huge truck like that?
George, I'm on a top-secret classified mission for Uncle Sam. This truck is a rolling bomb. 400 pounds of nitrate fertilizer with a plastique initiator. They'll hear the bang in China. Gee, I'm really looking forward to this.
Well, it was under 4 minutes before he told us exactly what he was here for. Let's talk about the items that we have, starting with the gourmet dog biscuits. Somebody's got to want one, surely. No, nobody has to want one.
Would you like a biscuit, Dwayne?
Oh no, those gourmet dog snacks bring me out in a rash.
You've tried them?
They were on special offer. Pearl bought a whole crate. When I asked her if she was thinking of keeping a dog too, she just laughed.
I've only just noticed that George and Dwayne are wearing exactly the same colour shirt. Let's ask about our lucky piece of coal. Maybe Dwayne could use it. Or maybe it'll be important for his mission that he's definitely not going to tell us more information about. He's definitely going to tell us more information about it at some point.
Would you like to borrow my lucky piece of coal, Dwayne?
What's so lucky about it?
Well, we made it to Quaramonte in one piece.
When you've been here a few days, you won't look on that as luck.
Are you implying that this place is dangerous, Dwayne? I've not seen anything dangerous at all. That doesn't mean that it's not dangerous, of course. Let's talk about Condor Transglobal.
Do you know anything about a shipping company called Condor Transglobal?
Sure I do. You have to get up pretty early to catch Dwayne with his pants down.
What? You beat me to it?
Condor Transglobal is all wound up. Seems like my investigations scared them off.
Was it your investigation, or was it our investigation? Or was it a combination of both of our investigations? Either way, there is only one more item that we can talk about, and I get the feeling this is going to be talked about a lot by pretty much everyone we encounter.
What do you think of these panties, Dwayne?
Lord, hot stuff, George. You buy those for your girl?
No. A guy we knew in Paris bought them for her.
Oh, you're a threesome then. Why are you looking at me like that, George?
Forget it.
And now there is nothing more to talk about. So, let's look at this truck instead.
It was Dwayne's truck, packed with high explosive, according to that amiable old paranoid. Reminded me of the time I was in Syria. But that's another story.
That is indeed another story, the Shadow of the Templars.
Stealing trucks wasn't my style.
No, taking every other item that you can find is your style. There is one more person we can talk to. This person here.
Who's a friendly-looking guy.
Let's have a conversation. Maybe he can tell us something about the items in our inventory, or about Quaramonte.
Hi, I'm George Stobart.
And that is a surprisingly low-quality audio file there for George. I wonder if this was recorded earlier on and it wasn't altered, because it does sound a little bit more tinny. Let's ask about this.
Can you tell me anything about this stone?
That's obsidian. It's a volcanic rock which has cooled so fast that...
Yeah. Look, I'm not interested in geology.
You're not. I suppose you want to know about the carved picture on it.
That's right.
Then the guy you should talk to is the professor. He was here a while ago.
Are you referring to Professor Ubier? Because if he was here, that would certainly connect up even more dots to say that we're in the right location. Let's ask about this statue next.
Do you know what this statue represents?
Should do. I used to carve things like that to sell to tourists. But it scared people around here, so I stopped.
You didn't actually tell us what it represented, though. But never mind, clearly it wasn't that important.
Do you recognize the design on this label?
Why, sure. That's the Condor Transglobal Shipping Company logo.
Do they have an office in Quaramonte?
No, but they ship out from here.
That's what I thought.
Of course, it wouldn't be that simple, would it? There are two more things we can talk about. That's likely the icon for the eclipse. It doesn't tend to be about the newspaper clipping itself, but more the topic of the eclipse, so we'll talk about that.
Have you heard about the eclipse of the sun?
Sure, I'm having a party to celebrate it. Drop by.
Really?
Sure. Plenty of food, plenty of wine, and everyone's invited, except the general.
I get the feeling the general is not popular. Let's ask about these. It was inevitable that this would be a conversation topic.
What do you think of these panties?
Awesome. You wear them?
No. Someone sent them to my girlfriend.
Thoughtful.
Not the word that George would use to associate with that item being given to Nico, but there we go. Let's go talk to other people. There are a few other people that we can talk to, and I imagine that there'll be people in the police station. In fact, I think I'm going to go into the police station right now and see if the professor is there. The professor is apparently somewhere around here, so let's go.
Hey, Nico!
I think Nico's coming with us. And so the pair go into the police station. Let's see what they find.
I have done just as I have been instructed, Professor. With the mine closed down, there'll be no one around to observe your excavation. I have visitors.
Just remember what I told you, General. There's really no need to make a martyr out of that man.
I'm sorry to keep you waiting, senor. Welcome to Quaramonte.
Thanks. My name's George Stobart from California.
But what is this? An angel come down to earth.
Nicole Collard. Enchanté, mon général.
Pardon me, senorita, but I couldn't help myself.
Look, we'd like to ask you a few questions.
You've come to the right place, senor. Tourist information. General Graciento, at your service.
That grin is probably going to be there for the entire conversation, isn't it? That is a grin that doesn't say, "Hi, I'm friendly and approachable." That is a grin that says, "Hi, I'm one of the villains of this story here." Look at that grin. Also, look at all the stuff that's going on in the background. That looks like a video game of some kind. We probably want to have a look at that at some point, but getting access to that is going to be difficult because there's both him and him there. I doubt either of them are going to want us to have a look. So, let's start by talking about him. Who is he, and what does he do here?
This is the tourist office? It says police on the sign outside.
It is both, senor. I am a man of many parts.
I can see that, General.
So, he both deals with law and order and also tourist information. Is there anything else that he deals with? We may find out eventually. Asking about Karzac is unlikely to bring up anything, but it's worth doing so, just in case.
Have you heard of a guy called Karzac?
No, I never heard of him.
That actually sounded kind of convincing. Maybe he genuinely doesn't know. Let's ask about this, shall we?
Are there any ruins around the city?
Of course, senor. Quaramonte has everything.
I have a friend who wants to visit an historical site.
Ronaldo will only be too pleased to conduct a guided tour. When he's dealt with today's paperwork, of course.
Ah, is that the guy over there? We may have to talk to him. And now we have a face to the name, for I believe this is Professor Oubier.
Who was the guy you were talking to when we arrived?
Professor Oubier, a visitor, senor, like yourselves.
Did you say Oubier?
Si, senor. Professor Oubier, a French archaeologist.
We need to keep talking about Oubier.
What's Oubier doing in Quaramonte?
Researching our rich and glorious past, senor. The professor is planning an expedition to some Mayan ruins. He came to see me to get an excavation permit.
We need to find out which ruins he's going to, most certainly. And before we ask about the dog biscuit, let's ask about Condor Transglobal.
Take a look at this label.
Si, senor. Condor Transglobal.
Can you tell me where to find their offices?
No, senor. I never heard of them, and neither did Ronaldo.
Now that was far less convincing.
Are you sure you never heard of Condor?
Oh, yes.
The company is registered here in Quaramonte City.
You are mistaken, senorita.
I don't think we are.
Condor is run by Karzac, isn't it?
Wrong again, senor. Karzac has nothing to do with anything called Condor. Whoever he is.
Do you keep a record of companies registered in Quaramonte?
Of course, senorita. Unfortunately, all the records were destroyed by a flash flood.
How convenient. I don't think you keep any records of this. I think you know that Karzac runs Condor Transglobal, and I think you're trying to grin your way out of explaining anything. That's okay, we'll talk about the eclipse instead.
Do you know anything about the forthcoming eclipse, General?
Such things do not interest me, senor.
Fair enough. Do we want to show the stone? I think we're going to risk it.
Have you ever seen anything like this before?
That's a native carving, isn't it? Where did you get it?
We picked it up in the market as a souvenir.
I'm not sure he buys that. Let's distract him with conversation about dog biscuits.
Would you like a biscuit?
Are you trying to bribe me?
Well, every man has his price.
Mine is more than a dog cookie, Senor Stobart.
Good to know.
What do you think of these panties, General?
Oh boy, fabuloso.
They're yours if you'll tell me all you know about Karzac.
I told you, I never heard of the guy. Do I get the panties now? I told you all I know.
You told me nothing.
He certainly wants them, but I don't think we're going to hand them over.
I'll be back.
I'm sure we will be. Let's have a look at everything, and eventually talk to you. Let's have a look at, the General first.
It was General Graciento, Quaramonte's reigning slime ball.
Anything else about him?
It was General
No, nothing else about him. What about this desk?
A couple of special offer letters were strewn across the desk.
Nothing of any particular importance by the looks of it, though. What about the computer?
It was a computer monitor with some kind of outdated game displayed on it.
It looks fun. Can we use it?
I didn't have time to get sidetracked by playing computer games.
But maybe you might find an important clue by doing so. Oh, it's unlikely that you will.
The television was showing what appeared to be a low-budget soap. A tall man with long blonde hair was shouting at a woman who was naked apart from a towel.
Why don't you keep watching? There might be an important clue.
I decided to leave the television switched on.
Probably a smart idea. Nothing else there. There's this here.
A safe was tucked under the desk.
Can we open it?
The safe was undoubtedly locked.
And undoubtedly being watched over by the General. And also by this guy. Anything else we can look at here? There's the filing cabinet. It's probably locked.
A filing cabinet stood in the corner.
And even if it's not locked, we probably won't be able to get access to it.
The filing cabinet was probably locked.
Let's try and have a look at this, shall we? This is bound to go wrong.
It was the map which the General had been showing to Professor Ubier.
Let's have a look.
Senor. Leave the child alone.
I don't think we're going to be, looking at that right now. Let's talk to you.
He had the eyes of a cocker spaniel set in a face like a deflated souffle. I couldn't help wondering what had driven him to work for a man like the General.
Only one way to find out. Let's have a conversation. Hello.
Hi, I'm George Stobart.
Hello, senor. How can I help you?
Also, there is not just one, but 2 cameras in here. Somebody's very concerned about security here.
Would you like a gourmet dog snack biscuit?
I would love one, senor, but I would have a problem with my teeth.
Toothache?
No, senor. If the General catches me eating on duty, he'll knock them out.
So, no dog biscuits.
Do you recognize this statue?
Tezcatlipoca, the night wind. Take it away, senor. That stone is cursed.
Well, that's something that we didn't know. We're carrying a cursed item. Maybe the lucky coal will counteract the curse. Likely not.
You know anything about this eclipse?
No, senor. El General keeps me in the dark about most things.
And finally, this conversation topic.
Are there any ancient pyramids near Quaramonte?
Si, senor. But it's not very impressive. It's in ruins.
That's perfect.
Well, we can keep talking about it.
Would you be willing to give a guided tour of the ruins?
I can't. The General would have a fit if I left all this paperwork.
We're going to have to find a way for you to, have the General be distracted so that we can get that guided tour.
So long.
And so, I think we've done everything that we can here. Note that this area, I think, is the place that, Dwayne has the truck reversed up to. I wonder why. Let's leave here for now, shall we? I think we've done everything that we can here.
Why did you show him the stone?
I thought maybe he might know something about it.
Well, he does now, for sure. He knows we have it.
I imagine that's a bad thing.
That man we saw talking to the General was Ubier. Didn't you recognize him?
I never met him, remember? The guy I called in Paris claimed to be Ubier, But he sounded nothing like the man in the police station. Maybe the professor really is innocent.
Nah, it's too much of a coincidence that he's here in Quaramonte.
Or maybe he just doesn't know entirely what's going on. Whatever's going on, anyway.
You came on a little strong with the General.
I was merely flattering his ego, Georges. Every man has his Achilles heel.
Maybe, but that guy's weakness isn't in his foot.
And there is one more thing that we can talk about.
Did you notice that chart on the police station wall?
Yes, it looked like a map to me, but I couldn't make out the details.
Whatever it was, the General didn't want us to see it.
We're gonna have to find a way to see it. And so, when we come back, folks, we're going to see if we can distract the General, and we're going to see if all the other people around here in Quaramonte will be able to ultimately help us in doing so, as I'm sure that everything will slowly lead on to everything else, so that we can make progress. And so, I'll catch you next time, folks, and I'll see you then. Later.